right, so you have the pages on the board from your workbook that you are going to be, or that you're going to have torn out. 471, 475, 477, 479. Do you have those 4 pages? Okay, we are going to start our math lesson now, and then we will finish it this afternoon because Mrs. Soto has to leave the school for just a little bit, and her class is going to be coming over here. And so we'll take a break from our math lesson. If she comes back before lunchtime, we'll continue it, but it's going to be broken into a couple parts at least, okay? All right, so these 4 pages torn out. Looking at, well, last week actually on iReady, you did some work on fractions on a number line. All right, so this is not going to be anything new to those of you that were here last week. So look at page 471. How can number lines help you understand fractions? That's what we're thinking about as we're working through this lesson. The model it says, complete the models below. Part 1. This number line shows whole numbers. The distance from each number to the next is 1 whole. Complete the number line by filling in the missing number labels. So we always start with 0 unless we're told otherwise, okay? So we have 0. If we have 1 whole, how many do we have?
1 whole.
We only have 1. If we have another 1 whole, now how many wholes do we have?
2.
2. If we add 1 more whole, how many wholes do we have altogether then? 3. Okay. Now if we look at this, they're not having us do the same thing. They are breaking apart 1 whole. Okay? So fractions are numbers that name parts of a whole. You can show fractions on a number line. On the number line below, the whole that is between 0 and 1, do you see the 0 and the 1 there? Is divided into equal parts. Label each part of the area model with the unit fraction it represents. So this is not new to those of you that worked through this last week. Let's take a look at this though. We talked about unit fractions. That's this part, this part, this part, and this part. First of all, how many equal parts are in this whole thing?
4.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So is that 4 our numerator or our denominator? The top number or the bottom number tells us how many equal parts are in the whole thing. Numerator, top number, denominator, bottom number. Raylyn? It is the denominator. So the unit, that's each one of them, is the same amount. How much of this is this one little part? 1 what?
4.
1/4. What's the next unit fraction? This is also what? 1/4. That makes this one also 1/4. What about this last one? 1/4. So the unit fraction is the same for all of those. side of that same page. All right. On the model, it says you can count fractions on a number line just like you can count whole numbers. Fill in the blanks to count the fourths below. So we would start by saying 1/4. Then what? 2/4. Then what?
3/4.
And then 4/4. So let's fill that in. 1/4. Oops, I don't have my writing utensil on here. 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. Now count the fourths on the number line and finish labeling the number line by filling in the missing numerators. That's the part, one part of the whole. So we start out at 0. If we have 1 unit, we have how many fourths? 1/4. If we have 2 of those unit fractions, how many do we have? 2/4. If we have 3 of those unit fractions, what's our fraction then? 3/4. If we have all 4 of them, it's 4/4, which equals 1 whole. When you have the same number on a fraction like that, 4/4, it's 1 whole. What if you have 3/3? 1 whole. 2 halves? 1 whole. 6/6? 1 whole. 10/10? 1 whole. All right. Now, let's look at this number line here, because we're going to make fractions that are greater than 1. So if we have 1/4, what's our fraction? 1/4. What if we have 2 1/4 unit fractions? How much do we have? 2/4. What if we have, oops, I wrote the wrong fraction. What if we have 3 of those? 3/4. What if we have 4 of them? Which is also, see how they labeled it? 1 whole up there? What if I have 4/4 and I add on 1 more fourth? Then I have 5/4. What if I add another fourth to that?
6/4.
Well, what if I add 1 more? 7/4. And then they did this last one for us. It's 8/4, but that is also 2 wholes, because there's 4 in each whole number. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you did iReady last week, I can't remember, I'm drawing a blank. Did it talk to you about writing that as a mixed number? No? Okay. Well, let's, because when we get into fractions that have a numerator that's bigger than the denominator, it's called an improper fraction. What are those called? Improper fractions have a numerator that's larger than the denominator. Is this an improper fraction?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
There?
Yes.
There?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, so look at the fraction that you labeled as 5/4 on the number line. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay, it's this one right here, right? So we know that 4/4 is how many holes?
One.
One hole. So, I'm going to erase that. 5/4 is one hole and how many fourths?
One.
So as a mixed number, that's what this is that we just created. It's a mixed number. It's 1 1/4. That's what equals 5/4. What do you think 6/4 would be as a mixed number? 1 and,
A half.
okay, 1 1/2 or 1 2/4, right? What about 7/4? It would be 1 and 3/4. And then they're saying that 8/4 is equal to 2 holes. We'll keep doing some more work with that. Here's a cool thing though that you can check to see. If I have 5/4, what is 4 times 1 plus 1? Does that give me my 5/4? What is 4 times 1 plus 2? Does that give me my 6/4? What is 4 times 1 plus 3? I can double check my work there to see. Okay, let's look at the next page that we tore out. All right, let's pretend like this is a piece of licorice here. Okay, you know the long, like, rope licorice, okay? So how many equal parts are there on this model? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's our denominator going to be? We just counted it. What's our denominator? 8. So now, this would be what? Part of it. 1/8. What's this one going to be? 2/8. What's next?
3/8.
After that?
4/8.
What's after 4/8?
5/8.
Next?
6/8.
Next?
7/8.
And the last one?
8/8.
What does it also equal?
1 whole.
1 whole. Okay, now think. Unit fraction. Each individual part shows how much? 1 what?
8.
What about this one?
1/8.
What about this one?
1.
Okay, so down here, each part shows
1/8.
1/8. Okay. Look at 2. It's not eighths anymore. Give me a thumbs up if you can tell how many equal parts are in this whole thing. We'll pretend like this is a Twix bar. One of them, right? Oh, I know. How many equal parts are there? Everybody,
6.
let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it important to count it out correctly the first time?
Yes.
Yes, otherwise you'll be doing twice the amount of work, right? If you started writing the wrong fractions, it's not going to add up, is it? So, what is the fraction of this part of the model?
1/6.
sixth. Go ahead and finish writing the fractions to complete that model. Okay, the bottom part says each part shows, remember that's the unit fraction for each one of those individual parts. Each part shows how much. Write that fraction down. Do you agree with how I labeled my fraction model?
Yes.
Or the model with each fraction? Each part, so that means this part, this part, this part. It's showing how much in each one of these, friends.
1/6.
1/6. Yes. Just leave your math stuff on the on your desk.
Thank you, Mrs. Lowe.
No problem. Okay, what we can do while we're just kind of hanging out in here together is we can just read on Epic. Okay, Mrs. Loafing's class, you can do the same thing. We'll come back to math.